Welcome to Realty Talk, where we talk real about real estate. No hype, no selling, just facts. My name is Frank Rodriguez, the manager here at Casa Bella Realty Group. And our goal is to bring you transparent and useful information you can use when making your real estate decisions. Continuing our multi-unit investment series, today's topic is rating KPIs. Now, we're going to work through this together in the next few minutes. So I'm going to ask you to, be specific on how you learn. And if you're somewhere safe where you can take notes, do so. Now, if you're driving or doing anything else where you can't write, come back to this video because the topic on rating KPIs is essential to your investing career. Now, legally and ethically, I can't say that you'll have a 100% success rate by following these KPIs. I'm not able to say that, though I can say this: by following the KPIs, the likelihood of you succeeding when investing increases, right? Because this is not gambling, this is making sound investing. And in any investment, there isn't 100% guarantee, though you can increase it, right? Close to 100% by following these KPIs. So let's start with the basics. What does KPI stand for? Key performance indicators. Anything worth having or doing, we measure. And investing in real estate units, it's not exempt from that. We have to have a measuring stick or measurements to determine if it's a good investment or not. And we do this through our key performance indicators. Now, as I go through this list, I'm going to do my very best not only to give you a range of the numbers or the targets. I'm also going to share with you the formulas. So, there's a lot of great real estate trainers on social media today offering seminars and such, or training series. I've been to one that the gentleman for 1 year learning a lot of this, I think it was close to $20,000. Now, I think it's worth $20,000 because what you can make in return, it's a lot more. Now, the benefit of watching this video or working with us is you'll have access to this at no cost. Again, we make our money when you make your money, okay? So as we go through these, I'm going to do my very best to discuss the targets as well as the formulas, as I mentioned a moment ago. So take good note. Okay, the first KPI we look at as practitioners working with an investor or us as an investor, and now you as an investor, the first KPI we look for is the GRM. Okay, I'm giving you the acronym because this is the jargon that you'll hear. And if you're already familiar with this jargon, great work. If not, I'll give you what it stands for. Okay, the GRM stands for Gross Rental Multiplier. This is the first screening process of any property. And the formula for this is you take the price of a property, divide it into the annual gross rents, and that will give you your GRM. Okay, let me repeat that. The formula for the GRM is your price divided by annual gross rents equals the GRM. And a target GRM. Now, these targets that I'm going to mention in each of these KPIs are more for the LA County area where we're located. Again, LA County has 88 cities. It's over 4,000 square miles. It's vast, right? It can vary from the type of properties as well as the location of the properties. Out of the 88 cities, if you've been paying attention to these videos, there's 13 cities now in LA County with city-specific rent control. Those targets can differ quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is give you a blanket range for all of LA County. Now, if you're outside of LA County, speak to a specialist and get to know what the target KPIs are for you in your county. I can speak to LA County because this is where our investors work. This is where we work. Uh, and then if you're in LA County, make sure you meet with us. Depending on the city or the type of property, what we're in that range is those KPIs more applicable to that specific property or that specific area. Okay, so here we go. On the GRM, the target rate, or the target number, I should say, should be between 10 to 13 on the GRM. If you land between a 10 and a 13, that's what we call the sweet spot, right? Now that I gave you the formula. The next KPI is vacancy factor. Okay, there really isn't a formula for this. It's more of working with the specialist, knowing what the comparables are in the area as far as vacancy factors. LA County, I think we all know housing is a big challenge. There's a big demand for housing, meaning that it brings down the vacancy factor. In LA County, in most places, most cities, it's between 3 to 5%. Okay, now if you're in a different state, different county, you may be looking at maybe 6 to 10%, I've heard in certain states, right? The vacancy factor being much higher, which is not all that great, right? And here in LA County, 3 to 5% vacancy factor tends to be the target rate, all right? On the next KPI is cap rate, okay? The long version name of this is capitalization rate. Okay, the formula for the cap rate is your NOI, net operating income, another acronym, NOI, net operating income divided into the price. That will give you your cap rate. Now, your cap rate, LA County should be between 4 to 7%. That's a good target range, 4 to 7%. The next KPI that we look for is the DSCR. What this stands for is debt service coverage ratio, right? Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. And most lenders nowadays, especially if you're self-employed, this is what they're basing the financing on these properties. So this is a key number to know how to come up with, or KPI, I should say. And the formula to figure out your DSCR on a property is your net operating income divided by the mortgage payment. Okay, so that's how you'll determine the DSCR. And a target rate for lenders is 0.80 up to 1.25. Now, for the lender purposes, for financing purposes, the higher the number, the higher DSCR, the better. So in this case, the 1.25 would be better for a lender, for you in able to get financing, right? Though they will go as low as 0.80 on the DSCR. Next, we have the ROI as the KPI. And what this stands for is return on investment. And this number is the cash on cash investment, also commonly known in investing circles, right? And what we do here is we look at the total cash flow per year and divide that into the total cash investment to purchase a property. And that would give us our cash on cash investment return on investment. And right now, we're looking at in LA County, if we can get you to a 6 or even 7% to 10%, we're doing great, right? Um, because nowadays, most CD accounts, money market accounts, CDs being secured like real estate, in I would say, again, no 100% guarantee, but very guaranteed. Um, they may be paying 5-6%. Money market account, again, some investing going on there, not guaranteed all the time. Anywhere between 6 to 7, though you're not reaping the benefits of the real estate investment. So if we can get 6 to 10%, our sweet spot 7 to 8 on your return on investment, we're doing good. All right. So those are the major KPIs and the formulas that are applied. Now, what I won't go into here are KPIs or formulas for high earners, be it W-2 earners or self-employed, S corps, C corps, LLCs. A lot of income being reported. There's other numbers we look at. Again, I won't cover them here. Such as the depreciation, the write-offs, bringing down your tax brackets, and overall, just benefiting from the tax law. Okay, I would ask you to speak to your tax professionals on these here, because they're more very tailored and specific to your needs. Though, if you were to meet with one of our specialists that deals with multi-unit investing, we can have a general conversation about those, right? On how they can possibly benefit you. Though we're not tax professionals, we would still advise you to speak to your tax professionals. But if you felt comfortable speaking with us on those topics, we can do so very generally, speaking about them. All right. So again, just a recap on the major KPIs. Hopefully, you can go back to this video and write down the formulas and the targets. Though I'll mention the KPIs here as we wrap up. The first is GRM, gross rental multiplier. The next is vacancy factor. The third is the cap rate. Next is DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. And the last is the ROI, return on investment, your cash on cash investment. All right, hopefully this video has been somewhat helpful. I know a lot of formulas, a lot of technical jargon, though, investing in real estate is a money uh, field, right? It requires numbers and understanding numbers. Now, if you're great with numbers, you'll catch on quick. If you're not great with numbers, that's okay. That's where working with the specialist, we can go through the numbers with you, pinpoint what's the highlights, what's important, what's relevant, and make sure we're hitting those targets. And that anyone could understand. All right. So, uh, again, thank you for watching. Share this video with someone that may be thinking of investing in real estate or currently owns real estate, because what we find, there's a lot of properties out there here in LA County that people are sitting on what we call a lot of equity. And another KPI that I didn't go into detail here is the return on equity. Some individuals are probably making 2 to 4% on their current equity, which is not good, even though they're cash flowing and it's taking care of them in certain respects, and in their mind they're making money. Uh, Actuality, they're losing money, because with a 2 to 4% return on equity as a KPI, when we see here our ROI, return on investment, if they were to transfer that current equity earning 2 to 4% to earning 7 to 10% on that same equity, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? The beautiful thing about real estate investing in multi-units is not what we think or what we feel. It's what do the numbers say? They tell the story. So if someone is comfortable with 2 to 4% in their mind, they think they're making money, they're actually losing money, right? With inflation, with rent control, and it's not going to get any better. So I advise you, if you know someone or if you own units at the moment and you haven't done an analysis lately, let's say in the last 24 months, I encourage you to reach out to us so we can do that analysis for you at no cost, no obligation. At least this way you know where you stand with your current property. And if there are ways we can help you increase the numbers in your current property, great. If not, we can look at other options with a 1031 exchange to improve those numbers, because long term, you want to make sure you're winning and not losing. Again, thank you again for watching.